Mr. Newby here. Second machine we're going to talk about is the joiner. So after you plane stuff, you come to the joiner. Purpose of a joiner is to joint the edge of a board. Okay, we can do the surface, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but most of the times we're doing the edge of the board. True, straight, good 90-degree edge to the face of the board. So, going over the parts on your study guide, A is this. This is the outfeed table. Okay, the outfeed table is split right here from this table. The outfeed table needs to be the exact same height as the cutter head here, so that whatever material is removed from the board, the outfeed table holds that board up at that exact height. Okay, if the outfeed table is too high, the board's going to hit it. Not good. You're going to have to raise your board up. It's going to mess up the edge. If the outfeed table is too low, the board's going to come across and go down, which is going to raise the backside, and you're not going to get a parallel board. Okay, you're going to get a tapered board. So, outfeed table. Okay. Next, B is the fence. The fence is what keeps the board straight up and down, so we want this to be 90 degrees, so we get a true straight square edge. So, the fence. The next one is the guard. This is your guard. This is your protection from the cutter head. So, the guard is on a spring. It comes out by itself when you're pushing the board across. The board pushes it out. You let it go. Your board passes. It goes back. Okay? So the guard. Next is your power switch. This is your power switch. Turn the green button. Machine comes on. Hit the red button. Machine goes off. Don't worry about the yellow button. It's not really a button. Okay? Next is your infeed table. So we talked about the outfeed table. This one is your infeed table. This is where the board is going to start and go. The infeed table is 1/16 of an inch less than the cutter head, because that's how much we remove. If you notice that pattern, we removed 1/16 off the surface when we plane. We remove 1/16 off the edge when we join. Okay? So the infeed table, 1/16 lower than the cutter head, and that's the amount that gets removed. Okay, so infeed table is E on your study guide. F on your study guide is the depth of cut scale. This is a little scale that if you're going to adjust this, you'd adjust it on how much to take off. I do all the adjustments. You guys think it needs to be adjusted, come see me. We'll talk about it. We'll check it out. But we want it set to take a 1/16 off each time. And then when we do adjust it, we have to unlock it, and we pull this handle up or down, which moves the table up and down. So this is your infeed table adjustment. Okay? So, reviewing that, we have outfeed table, fence, guard, power switch, infeed table, depth of cut scale, and infeed table adjustment. So those are on your study guide, A through G. Both our joiners are 8-inch joiners. We know they're 8-inch joiners because the table is 8 inches wide, and the length of the cutter head knives on here is 8 inches. Cutter head is 8 inches. So that makes it an 8-inch joiner. So the rule is, whatever size joiner you have, that is the shortest board you should process through it. Okay? On our planer, 12 inches with the shortest, joiner, 8 inches. Okay? So you want to make sure your board is at least 8 inches long to run on the joiner. Number 2, always use a push block when joining the face of a board. 99% of the time, we are doing the edges of the board. Probably 99.99%. Occasionally, we'll need to face a board. If you think you need to do that, you talk to me. It's kind of like planing. When you do a face a board, you're going to use a push block. This is a push block. It has these things that pop down so that they will grip the back side. You can see that right there. And it will help push it across. Okay? So that is so that the board doesn't kick back. The kickback zone on this machine is back that way, so you don't stand there waiting to use this machine. So use a push block when you're facing a board. We hardly ever do that, but it is an operation you can do on the joiner. Number 3, make sure the guard is in place at all times when using the machine. If you come up to use it and the guard's out here, that cutter head's exposed, not safe. So you want to make sure that it's covered when you come up to use it, okay, and then it springs back when you're... Number 4, always feed the wood with the grain. So if you face a board, you're going that way, you see the grain direction. You join a board, you're going that way, you can see the grain direction. Never join in grain, okay? I know 2 people that lost parts of fingers joining in grain. Very dangerous to do. So we never join in grade. Why else wouldn't we joint this? Because it's not 8 inches wide. But even if you haven't had a board that was 8 inches wide, you still don't joint in grain. It's fighting the cutter head and it wants to kick the board kicks, your hand goes down, very dangerous. So never joint in grain. Number 5, keep hands and fingers at least 4 inches away from the knives at all times. Okay, we have a rule of that for our shop. This machine has another rule. Still follow the 4-inch rule, but if we have a board that is shorter than the height of the fence, we definitely use a push stick to push this board across. Okay? And we will even use these we call hold downs. The hold down there, this here to push it across. Also, when you're joining, you want to be careful not to push down with, if you have a push down, you're fine, but you want to keep your hands, you got to be careful in this area where that cutter head is. You never want to push down directly over the cutter head with your hands and fingers, because if the board kicks, your hand's going to go down, very dangerous. So you'll slide it across, put the pressure on the outfeed table, don't push down directly over the cutter head. Alright, number 6 says, make all adjustments before the joiner is turned on. Basically, students don't make adjustments on the joiner. It should be set to take a 1/16 off. If you think it's off, not correct, come see me. I'll help you adjust it, show you how to adjust it. But for the most part, there's not really many adjustments we do. We come up, we turn it on, we run the board across, we leave. If you think it's out of adjustment, let me know. We don't want to mess with the outfeed table because it needs to stay directly with the height of that cutter head. In-feed table, we want us to be at a 1/16. All the other adjustments you don't need to mess with. Come see me if you think something needs to be adjusted. So again, the most we take off at each pass is 1/16 of an inch. If you take off more than that, a heavier cut, it could cause a kickback. Remember, the kickback zone is back this way, where the board would go. When you are joining, you want to joint at a slow, steady pace. I'll demonstrate that in a minute. Too fast of a pace will leave machining marks on your board, and your board won't be smooth. Okay, so slow, steady pace. I'll demonstrate that in just a minute when we get done with the study. Stand to the left of the joiner, not directly in back of it. From this view, I'm on the right side, okay, but from the back view, I'm on the left. You stand in this area when you're using it. You'll see that there's a safety yellow line box down there to stand in, and you're going to operate it. You're going to move across this way. Okay, so now I'll demonstrate the use of a joiner. I'll review a few of the study guide questions we had and show you that. So this board, it is taller than the fence, so I do not need a push stick, so I can turn this on. This hand holds it tight to the fence and holds it down. This hand pushes it across. You want to go at a slow, steady pace, and you will get a nice, smooth edge. If you go too fast, let me demonstrate what that edge looks like. If you go too fast, it may be hard to see on the camera, but you can definitely feel it. There's little chunks out of this. Okay? That's not good. So, slow, steady pace. And you'll get your smooth edge. You also want to keep this flat on the table, up against the fence. Okay? Alright, so now let's say we're joining a board shorter than the fence. You want to make sure you use a push stick. This hand is still in play. It's got to hold it tight. You're going to move it and push that across. Join your edge. If you have a really narrow board like this one, okay, when you joint this, I recommend you using a hold down right here and push it across. Okay, so like I said, 99% of the time we're joining the edges of the board. You want to go at a slow, steady pace. You want to make sure that you use a push stick anytime the board is less than the height of the fence. Okay, hold down when you're getting those narrow boards. And if you happen to be facing a board, we would use a push plug. Okay, so that's how we use the joiner. And we'll move on to the next machine. So, newbie out.